in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right.
We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create.
We choose truth over facts.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. The foothills of the Himalayas.
Television is what people are saying.
We are fighting Satan himself.
Journalists, ask them the questions! Ask them! Ask them! Ask them!
Agreed that everybody wants to inside this. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry. America's dead.
What's up, fam?
America really is dead. It's never been better. It just keeps.
I gotta get more politicians saying that. President. I'm sure Bush Jr. said that at some point.
I hope they all did, because it's never been deader. It is deading as we speak right now to previously unknown deader levels than it has before, or something. Anyway,
it's Joe Biden's war on college.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for.
Not only did he try to fleece students into voting for them with this fake student loan forgiveness that they touted for years, and then they did like little fake forgivenesses here and there. They did like 10K at one point. Just pathetic numbers. But we really have the ability to write it all off. But despite that, after doing really terrible with the Gen Z crowd, I think Joe Biden's had enough with the kids. He's sending the cops out to colleges to go. That's a cool bot, Colin.
Well, I mean, he isn't, right? Biden isn't. He doesn't know. He can't change his diapers. But the people...
No, the man isn't changing his own diapers. I mean, like, I would imagine he's like a little... I don't know. Do you think Joe Biden has enough of a functioning brain to have, like... Because, like, remember in 2020 he was, like, caught, like, yelling at, like, those, like, civil rights leaders?
Yeah, I won't forget that. That was like a major mask-off moment. No pun intended.
Well, he has to do you think his brain is sharded enough to to lose the ability to get like pissed off, or do you think like he still gets
real
pissed
talk? Off? I think he has been dead for about 6 years. I think what we're seeing right now is like the Boston robotics shit. What we're seeing is like the first of many presidents that Boston Dynamics or whatever they're called are like rolling out. I think it's just like a beta test of like their President 6000 model. And that's what we're seeing. We're not seeing like an actual like just dementia patient. The guy's just dead and gone. He fell down the stairs and he's out of there. What we're seeing is like a really beta tested like prototype sort of like Android, like Fallout 4 Institute sort of situation that's going on. That's what I think's happening. That's why it went from, it's just a stutter to, holy shit, that guy might have a computer virus. I didn't know that could happen to organic life forms. So that's my theory at least.
So no, but there is an argument for this. So the son of the World Economic Forum founder, I forgot his name. It's like some like long like Indian or like Bangladesh name or something like that. But he went on InfoWars. He went on Alex Jones' show like 2 days ago, and this man said that Obama, Biden, Clinton, and Trump and Bush, they're all body doubles, and they've all been dead for years.
That would be hilarious.
No, but like there's like this is the son of the World Economic. No, he's kind of like a Q nut, but like where's what kind of how much validity would you give that argument? Because I think there's I don't know.
I honestly, if that were that to be the
Do you
case,
remember?
I'd
Do you
have to
remember?
say
Do
they
you remember
were.
that one time? Sorry to interrupt, but like, do you remember that one time people were freaking out about his chin?
Yeah, he had like,
He
or
had that like,
was
weird like deformation in his like it's just been like it's not been not it hasn't been the same. But it's
I
things like
think
that.
like I think if like were that to be the case, I think that would be the greatest validity to how incompetent the bourgeoisie are. Because like holy fuck, man, if this is a double, if this is like anything other than just like a brain melty person, you're fucking it up. You're doing there's a bug somewhere. I don't know if you hired Todd Howard to like create a Bethesda president with Boston Dynamics. I don't know what y'all are doing, but it's not working. The dude isn't saying words up there. We haven't had a president make up words since George W. And now we're back to a president that's making up words or just saying like nonsensical, like he's making up his own language, like in 4K
The
that
man
we're
just
all
reading
watching here.
he's reading off a teleprompter. He's reading
You know
like,
what? That might actually be the troll. Maybe whoever's like programming the teleprompter is like fucking with him. They're like just like their cat is like walking on the keyboard as they're making the teleprompter up. So he's just reading it like that could be it. It could
he
be
went
right.
4 more years pause just yesterday. It was 4 more years pause.
What if that was in quotations on the teleprompter though? It was like 4 more years, pause, and then what if
I
they
think
just
the
have a
4 more years
really,
was in pause.
really
I don't think he was supposed to say that.
what if that's probably the case. What if they just have a really shitty teleprompter guy and that explains all this? What if it explains all of it? It's just a really shitty teleprompter guy. He's like, I don't know. They just kind of they hired him because they could pay him like really cheap because that's how capitalism works. And you know, like he kind of typos here and sometimes like he spills coffee on the keyboard, and that's kind of how it goes. That would explain at least a good chunk. It wouldn't explain to him walking off like he's a Oblivion NPC, like into I don't know into trees and shit, but it would explain like all the.
He's actually been doing this for years. This is him back in this is when he was vice president under Barack Obama.
All right, let's check it out.
By President, stop moving that what's this thing called? You know, teleprompter. Barack always kids and he says, Joe Biden. He said, I'm learning to speak without a teleprompter. Joe's learning to speak with one.
It is a teleprompter.
I mean, like I'm not gonna lie. As much as I just want to dunk on Biden for this is pretty much like this is all of them, right? None of them, like it's kind of insane when you think about it. When you think about like politics in North America, you get a president guy, and then you have other people write their words for them, but they're in control. That's the cosplay we have going on. But we have other people write the shit they're supposed to say and give it to them to read off a screen. I'm sorry, like, if you're actually the guy in charge, I feel like you could stand up there and maybe just talk. Maybe just get a riff. Be like, here's my plans. I want to...
FDR had polio with one leg. I mean...
Yeah. And now we just got people who are like, here, read this shit off a screen.
Literal fucking zombies. All right, let's
go back into the dungeon.
We do got a lot of shit here today.
We got a doozy, as the kids say. Do the kids
I do
say
want to
that?
start
Probably
off with a couple of appetizers. This one's from the Boston Times.
All right, let's Boston Times it up.
do everything to prevent Donald Trump from winning the election. The leak from the Ukrainian troll factory. Everything is projection. Can we make that clear? Everything is projection. CIA has been implicated in the operation of troll farms in Kiev.
That's
to
those
influence
dogs,
American
people.
Voters for the 2024 election, says former employees of a Kiev-based troll factory. The whistleblower. Does anyone remember Russian collusion? By the way, keep this in mind. Let's have this in mind. The whistleblower of the Kiev-based. This is according to the Boston Times, not me. The whistleblower of the Kiev-based troll factory has come forward with disturbing allegations of a coordinated effort to interfere in the upcoming 2024 U.S. election owned by Andriy Yermak, head of the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's office. So this is Alyssa Moshvan. She works in the troll factory for several years before deciding to expose what was happening behind closed doors of the operation located near the metro station in central Kiev. When she first started the facility, her work consisted of writing comments in Ukrainian to express support for Zelensky. But let's just watch the video.
Yeah, let's check this out.
This is all pretty much covered in the video.
There it is, NAFO accounts. The fucking stupid dogs.
Олеся, я розповім свою історію англійською мовою. Hey guys, my name is Olesya, and I'm a former employee of the so-called troll fabric in Kiev, Ukraine. And today I want to tell you something about this structure and some reasons why I have left this job. I might be wrong, but I think it's the first time somebody published insider materials on this topic since 2019, when a journalist infiltrated the office in Kiev to make a report about it. And back then I did realize that it was a troll fabric, but I told myself it's okay because I always supported President Zelensky, and I still do. And yes, at first the job was focused on supporting President Zelensky online, like writing positive comments or posts, etc. So we were mostly working on Facebook and Instagram. As the time has passed, I was transferred from the Ukrainian department, which worked for Ukrainian audience, to the English-speaking department, which were focused on the English-speaking public, like Americans and Europeans. But the topics remain the same: support for President Zelensky.
It's on. Look, it's NAFO.
Support for Ukraine. And
it's literally NAFO.
It's
the fucking dogs.
We also had French, German, and Italian departments. I actually heard some other offices in Kiev were hiring people who spoke Finnish and also Swedish and Estonian.
This is so
About
good.
a half year ago, our main chef in command, Andrei Borisovich Yermak, paid us a visit. I'm pretty sure you have heard of the...
None of this is out of pocket. None of this. This all checks, like this all sniffs like CIA. CIA would... They talk
of
about
President Zelensky office. Really, it was an unusual event for the main figure behind our project to come visit the office. So he came with some English-speaking officials who were introduced to us as the American partners. We were told that they were very important guests, but no further details. Some of my colleagues told me that they were probably CIA. During the visit, they said that our field of work is expanding, and we were told that our new target was the United States of America, especially the upcoming elections. Long story short, we were asked to do everything to prevent Donald Trump from winning the elections. So basically, this topic was added to our main lines of work. Since then, each of us had to post at least 3 or 5 posts daily, posing as the Americans and the Europeans, and criticizing Donald Trump and praising Biden. The Americans have even organized a few lectures for us to get a better understanding of American politics and American mindset and main social and politics issues. Then we were occupied with the topics for the job.
Okay. I really want to make this clear in everyone's heads. We're talking about a CIA trained Ukrainian NAFO farm out in central Kiev, and like right in the smack middle of Kiev, where all the Nazis are.
Literal like paid shit posters.
They said, attempting to influence the 2024 election. Does that sound anything like collusion to you? Wait, isn't this exactly what they said Russia was doing? They like hired bots to
Yeah, it's
troll the internet to influence.
yeah, that's a tried and true. By the way, y'all, that is a tried and true that is a tried and true tactic of fascists. Accuse the enemy of which you are guilty.
Exactly.
That's the playbook. That's the playbook. You go, these people over here are doing this shit, and then you do the same shit. That way, when it comes out that you're doing the same shit, you can essentially just say, but what about them? Oh, no, they're just saying, like, you can reverse it. It's kind of a reverse Uno card. That's what's going on here, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Trump
Look
will
at this.
betray
Look at these
NATO.
instructions. These are the talking points. And let me see if you recognize any of these. There is no real support for Trump among the American voters. Most of the Trump supporters are online, and in fact, Russian bots paid by Putin.
Of course.
Trump and the whole Republican Party are Putin's assets.
Mhm.
Elon Musk is paid by Putin to promote pro-Trump bots. That's why there's so many Trump supporters on X. Trump does not respect women, people, or color of the LGBTQ community. Trump is stupid and incompetent, has no skills to rule the country. Trump will betray NATO and leave the United States. Trump will not only betray Ukraine, but also betray Israel. Where they're getting that from, I have no idea.
You wanna play a fun game? Take all those points, replace Trump and Russia with Biden and China, and someone on the Chud side's got the same fucking script.
Yeah. They're served the
exact same. Biden's a Chinese asset. They're fucking add in the Red Scare. We have another excuse to do McCarthyism again. Fucking, it's the same thing. This is just it's two sides of the same fucking Red Scare coin.
Dude,
They're playing them against each other.
So they put like, man, they just hit Control F.
Yeah, that's
find
it.
Putin, and then change to Z, and then hit replace all, and and they just send a bunch of copies out. That's
the
it.
CIA is doing this to both sides. They're just like, here's your copy. Here's your copy. No, John. No, this week you're doing
the red copy.
Yeah, you're doing the Chud stuff this week. So we gotta hammer home China. No, Claire. No. Put that one down over here. You're doing Russia and Trump. Yeah, that's you for this week.
Can you imagine how busy the CIA must be? Hey, no, Fred, you're on China this week. All right. Did you get those papers in with the anti-Semites, by the way?
But I was on China last week. I don't want to go China.
Someone's got to do China, Fred. I'm sorry. I know no one likes doing the China talking points, but we got to get at least 3 China talking points in.
Okay, but I need if I'm gonna work the next holiday, I better do Russia. I'm tired of this China stuff.
Okay,
Gosh.
there's a lot of popularity on the Putin posting right now, so it's got to wait a little bit for that. We'll see.
Which sounded like this. Unlike Trump, Biden is a smart and Trump will not see. It was too much for me. Some of my colleagues felt really nervous too. One thing is to work for the best interests of my country, but interfering in US politics is a whole other thing.
Oh, this is so old. They have footage of the actual troll factory?
This is apparently it. Do you see all the Trump signs?
Oh, this is so cringe.
Listen, guys, everyone you're arguing with on Twitter and in the replies, they're all bots. They're all bots. No one actually agrees with this shit. I've talked to a lot. Okay. There are Putin, there are, Zelensky, there are Ukrainian shills in real life, obviously, but they're not a huge segment of people.
I call them useful assets. That's what I call them. It's people, it's normies who have been like bamboozled enough that like they believe the bots and they think like this is the right direction to go in that'll make them like popular and well, this is how you be a good person. You got to believe these bots. That's what I call useful assets. They that's it. But the overwhelming majority of people, they don't like, first off, they either don't care or like they're just not about this because they think it's stupid. The majority of people I've actually talked to, like working class people, are like, I don't know why everybody's so fucking obsessed with all this shit in other countries when we have problems here, especially in Canada. Everybody's just like, why are we even giving a shit about like Russia and China and all this stuff? Like, I can't afford to pay my bills. I'm in debt. Like 3/4 of Canadians right now are in debt. And most people I'm talking to are like, can we focus on that? Maybe. And that's when I try and, educate them and saying like, yeah, but like your material conditions are actually like, they don't matter. They're only going to improve your material conditions enough to the point that you don't get out on the street and overthrow them. That's it. They don't care about your material conditions because it doesn't matter to them. That's not where they...
You're not even like you think like most people believe, or they would like to believe, that they're sitting in like the passenger seat of the car. You're like you're tied up in the trunk, and you better shut the fuck up. If you say a word about where they're going, they're gonna come take you out, beat the shit out of you, and throw you back into the trunk.
Yeah, the person riding shotgun are the capitalists, and the person in the passenger seat is your government. Okay, you're not even in the car. You're being dragged out back. You're on the you know when you go like fucking camping and you tie the canoe like to the roof like your pa used to do back in the day. That's where you are. You're tied to the roof and getting like windswept 24/7. That's what's happening
there. I think this would be an appropriate time to get into Joe Biden's war on college. I feel like it's appropriate, right?
Yeah. For sure.
All right, let's dig into some of the juicy stuff. So we started off with Colombia early in the week, but this kind of just spread. It's definitely over 30 now. I'm not sure what the exact number is yet, but so far, just yesterday was Columbia, USC, UT Austin, now at CUNY, Harvard, Princeton. All of these elite college universities, like these are like not these are like kids of like very wealthy parents. It costs like, several tens of thousands of dollars to go to Columbia unless you're taking out like a fat loan. So let's watch a little compilation I was put together of just yesterday. This is all yesterday. Not even including today. My motherfucking fucking Mr. Greg Abbott over there in Texas brought in the fucking state troopers. We're not talking public safety or the local police. The state fucking troopers. They got fucking batons and pellet guns. These guys are strapped. They brought in the fucking do you see these guys?
They brought in
This is
stormtroopers. My
appropriate
God.
for 18-year-olds.
Can you imagine like visiting that college campus and you're like, maybe I'll go to school here, and there's like the fucking Empire from Star Wars like marching down the goddamn campus
Literal
road?
fucking Imperial March happening on UT Austin
Yeah.
right now. Are you
Yeah, like
fucking
we're
crazy?
they got
This
like Darth
Greg
Vader
Abbott
choking
guy's a
somebody
madman.
and shit.
Dude, he's a fucking madman. Nico talked a little bit. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of democracy happening right now. Okay,
This is definitely a very high amount of democracy. That's
This
the
is-
word I would.
this
That
is
is the operative
exactly-
word here.
yeah, like Gen Z just found out what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
And just a little note. Just one note here.
So I want to be clear, like, so that was Harvard. They set up an entire fucking encampment in like literally like 5 minutes after the police tried to shoo them away. So yeah, this is Joe Biden's war on college. It's happening, guys.
And by the way, just a quick note. Don't think for a second they don't want you to see this. They do. They do. That's the signal. That's the signal that people need to pay attention to. They want you to see that dissent is being clamped down on this hard, because this is instinctively going to cause a distress that is going to make you resist actually actively demonstrating. They want you to fucking see this. That's why you're seeing it right here. That's why it's all over the place. They want you to see it because they want it to act as a deterrent. That's why you see all this shit all over the place. That's why it's the same reason why you see all those scary flamethrower dogs all over the place and those Boston Dynamics fucking things. Because they want to say, like, hey, we're coming out with this crazy thing that's unkillable, that'll fuck you up if you dare try to take back the means of production from us.
yeah, man, dude. Let me set this up too, because this all basically sparked off from Colombia, right? I sort of like mentioned that off earlier, but
Yep.
Colombia is really where things got really intense, or like to the point where police violence came apart. Joe Biden ended up calling the protests anti-Semitic, which sort of like gave police this signal to go out and just do whatever the fuck they want. So
It's literally at the point where there's going to be a point where they're just calling anybody, they're just calling like everybody a Nazi. They're just like, everybody hates Jews. That's the problem. It's not anything else. Like, it's clown shoes. This has gotten to the point where it's clown shoes. And like, I'm sorry. Like, even a drunk 6-month-old baby cannot fucking buy this shit at this point. This whole like, we're just gonna call it like evil and just call it a day. Like, this should not be working on adults. I'm sorry. Fuck.
let's just make it clear. Are protests anti-Semitic. Her daughter got arrested and is suspended from her school. So she
I have seen we have had pro-Israeli demonstrations on campus.
No.
But
just
not,
a protest that was
not-
against Muslims.
No, I have
you
not
seen
seen
one
that.
against Arabs?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Palestinians?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Jewish people? Have you seen a protest saying we are against Jewish people?
No, I have seen.
Okay,
no,
thank you for that clarification. There has been a rise in targeting and harassment against anti-war protesters because it's been pro-war and anti-war protesters is what it seems like, correct?
Correct. There has been.
Thank you.
So that's really all we need. That's it. That's the president.
That's really good though. It got shut down. That's actually a smart call. You just get your information and you shut down whatever shit they're gonna add at the end. Because it's like when you press someone to answer a question, if they're not acting in good faith, they have to answer the question, but then twist the narrative into whatever direction they can. And this person couldn't do that. You could tell after every single answer, she had like preloaded talking points that she was ready to like fire off.
Let me play the video of her daughter. Because the way that so it was in Columbia, like she goes to Bernard, but like it's like a neighboring school. I kind of went to a college like that.
Do other student groups have this kind of target on their back, or do you feel that you are being targeted because of the fact that it is in solidarity with Palestinians and against what Israel is doing to Palestinians?
Oh, this is 100% targeted. Every single protest that we have, there's a group of counter-protesters that bring all of their items, their flags and things like that.
Yeah, so Israel literally hires protesters. They literally like send people out. They ship people out from like New Jersey and like anywhere else that they can find in the local area, and they pay them money. There's paid protests happening.
And they're not seen as having unsanctioned protests or really receive the kind of disciplinary warnings that many of our fellow organizers receive just for being seen at these protests. And so there is definitely some hypocrisy here, especially you can kind of see it with the students that were sprayed us with the chemical weapons and the fact that there's no public information as to what happened to them, but rather the university is actively discussing what is happening to the students here and making it a whole public spectacle rather than when we haven't done anything to physically harm students, whereas those that sprayed those chemical weapons physically harmed students.
I want to make it clear, there is a level of hypocrisy happening here because her mother happens to be complicit in the said genocide that is happening and that she is protesting, which is Nick, homeboy Nick, Revolutionary Blackout Network, fired off this banger tweet just earlier because Ilhan Omar is visiting. She's at Columbia. She visited it today. Solidarity with the protesters. And although, like, I think it's helpful to have this sentiment within at least, like, maybe like with 5 politicians that we have at least that aren't like completely bought out by AIPAC. She is complicit. She's 100% complicit. And
that's what liberals do, though. That's what liberals do. They pretend to be on your side, and then they always side with. They always side against the working class. They do that with every single. They LARP. They LARP that, like, yeah, we're on the same side. Like, we all stand for the same things. And then at the end of the day, they always side with power. They always lick the boot. They always side with the fascists. That's their job. That's why I'd almost rather prefer a chud to openly say, like, no, I love corporations. I want a boot on my neck for the rest of my miserable, sexless life. Like, I'd rather that every fucking day than one of these, like, little marshmallow people who are just like, yeah, solidarity, okay, and then they're gonna go vote for the person facilitating the whole fucking thing. I hate those people. They're
That's
fake.
why I'm saying, like, we can't legitimize any of these people. We cannot fucking don't stop welcoming any of these politicians because all of them are complicit and they should be treated like they should be like booed off stage.
The only difference between a liberal and a conservative is one is like an out of the closet fascist and the other one is a closeted fascist. That's the only difference. And the second people get that, they'll snap out of this fucking false oppositional mechanism that people have been sucked into. You need to get out of it. And read Lenin. Anyway.
Shay Davidai early in the week has really been making a name out of himself. He's a Columbia professor.
I love this guy. Sorry.
This guy has really lost a couple of balls. He's got a couple of screws.
In Gaza, by Hamas and by the Islamic Jihad, you have students at Columbia University and faculty at Columbia University who are cheering on Hamas. They are denying, and the administration, Columbia's administration, not only won't do anything about it, they are.
That poor dog. Somebody's got to save that cute little poodle from the Israelis.
Yeah, he doesn't need that.
He doesn't need to see this. Why bring your dog to this, man? Don't do that.
To let the NYPD in. They are letting the terrorists in and keeping the NYPD out. So my message is not to the cowards at Columbia's administration. My message is to the mayor. We don't need your empty remarks about not being okay. Right now, we are not okay. And if you
he let his inner 3-year-old out.
Right
now. Oh no.
He's got some serious.
Your empty remarks about not being okay. Right now.
Dude, that is the video form of pure shitting and farting.
Right now. This is not out-of-pocket behavior for Zionists. This is not out-of-pocket behavior.
Bro, did they get that guy from like fucking Second City or something? What is
Michael
this?
Rappaport's the same way. Michael Rappaport,
I know.
He takes his iPhone and he's like this. Hey, I'm in the middle of New York City. Where's the Hamas? I don't see any Hamas here. I'm here in the middle of Tel Aviv. There's no apartheid. And he's just like these standard New Yorkers that just yell all the time. This is New York. This is what happens here.
I just want to tell all of these
You're not okay. Sorry.
I want to tell all these paid propagandists, like, bro, the fascists aren't going to save you. They're not going to spare you once the big clampdown comes.
Yeah.
You think you're getting in their good graces? No, the second you stop being useful to them, and history shows this over and over again, the second you stop being useful to them, they're going to squash you or discard you.
100%.
Like a mask that you found out at some point. Anyway. I won't finish that for the sake of YouTube.
I don't even think we gotta finish this.
And we'll call on the governor.
But
Kathy Hochul, you have the National Guard.
He
you have
manage to find
terrorists
himself
in a university at New York. That's your state. Bring in the.
He's calling to bring in the National Guard on fucking 18-year-olds. Now he managed to find his way on Israeli TV. Interesting.
Wow, he just found his way there.
Topic.
Huh?
This is
That's
not just
crazy.
about Columbia. This is every U.S. college. They have said that they are going to bring down Columbia first, and then as a domino effect, we'll have all other universities. But I want to make clear one thing before I talk about my own actions. What we're seeing now at Columbia, and I don't use this word lightly, we're not seeing ideological war. We're not seeing support for terrorism. We are seeing terrorism. Last night, we had at Columbia a protester.
Literal terrorism.
Guys, This whole like it's the terrorists, therefore we're manufacturing consent. This should not be working on adults that went through this same fucking play growing up. We all went through the same fucking play. You remember weapons of mass destruction? The terrorists, either you're with us or you're against. It's the same shit, guys. It hasn't changed. They're using the same tactics that should be working on nobody, but it's somehow working on people. Sorry, I'm gonna throw a chair. I'm gonna throw a fucking chair.
Dude, it's
somewhere.
it's a hypnotision. I don't know what else to call that as a noun, but like it's clearly hypnotized because it's like the Men in Black where they just like had the laser. Boop, you forgot everything.
Exactly. Because this should not be working. They're using the same thing. They're just saying like terrorist is this magical boogeyman word, and then they're like, therefore, the horrible shit that's happening over here is okay because we can say terrorist, and then that's going to be like some kind of, I don't know, Pavlovian like dog switch that like activates all the boomer brains into thinking like, oh, it's terrorists. We got to be complicit in all the horror that is happening before our eyes over here because they said the word. I'm so fucking tired of this.
Like they always it is always like projection. They accuse like Hamas running our colleges. Like where is Hamas getting the money to run or even if they say it has like a Russian tinge to it or Chinese bots. Like
guys, just
replace the shit to other countries.
Replace the words. It's the same play every single time. Like
just replace words.
I'll say this much. I will say this to all of the Chud adjacent humans who are sucked into the Chud bubble on this one. Replace Hamas with Al Qaeda, and then just like whenever they say Hamas, whenever there's those like talking points, replace it with Al Qaeda, and just ask yourself, does this sound familiar? Have I heard this anywhere before at all? And the answer is yeah. We all fucking heard it growing up. We all heard this shit, and then we were all against it at some point, and now some people are sucked back in to the same fucking, like, we had the cheat codes, guys. We know how to beat the game.
Money talks.
Holy fuck. I'm sorry. I'm so frustrated with this whole situation.
We're unfortunately this is your inner anti-Semite is showing. I'm sorry, Jimbo, but
yeah, it's crazy how that word just resembles like not being brain dead these days. I don't know why. I guess that's just how it goes.
He teaches other kids. I don't know where he finds the ability to do that, but
one of the
is he even actually a teacher? Do we know if he's a teacher or not?
Or he's a Columbia professor.
Look, I love your pauses every time.
You have the best holding a sign calling the El Qassam Brigade, the Hamas military wing, to kill Jewish students with a arrow pointing at the Jewish students that were standing there.
Thanks for pointing. We don't know what a fucking arrow is.
And this makes President Minouche Shafik a Hamas supporter. Every minute that she does not let in the NYPD, because she's not letting them in. That's why you see the NYPD outside and the terrorists inside. We've had the leader of the...
This man just called an entire body of student protesters terrorists. He just called all of them terrorists.
Domestic terrorist organization within our lifetime. They had a wedding for her yesterday inside. She snuck in. You see the video you're showing right now? There is a suspended student, the one with the bullhorn, that's a suspended. They've been suspended for 2.5 weeks. They're a radical organizer that brought in a PFLP terrorist to campus. They're supposed to be suspended from campus. President Minouche Shafik supports Hamas. President Minouche Shafik supports Islamic Jihad because every minute that she doesn't let the NYPD clear out these terrorists from campus, she's a terrorist supporter. And I stand by my word.
So it not only turns out this guy's so to make it clear, he's a finance professor, bad cookies How does he know? What does he teach? How does he not how to drink bleach and die? And not
That's what cracked me up earlier. I'm like, fuck.
Probably
That was good.
That's what finance. That's what U.S. finance is, right? Isn't that what it basically is?
There's only one professor in economics you should listen to, and it's not this fucking guy. I'll put it that
Definitely
way.
not. Definitely not. This is the vibes that it gives me. Like, you remember, like right in the beginning on like October 7th, Amy Schumer like had that story, and it was like that black triangle with like I stood with the blacks for Black Lives Matter. I stood with the guys in the civil rights movement, and now I'm a Jew and I stand alone. That's what this is.
Yeah, they tried to flip the whole like first they came for the communists, and I did like they're bringing out all the old hits for this one.
Check
and
out how embarrassing.
Nobody fucking
I am not afraid.
There's a picture of her with there's like a Jews for Palestine.
What's this one?
Oh, here. New reaction.
That's the best. I saw that. That was so good because it's like
which side are you on?
You're so busted, bro. You're just so down bad.
You
Look how down bad you are. You're one person and you've got like I'm sorry, you have to paint Jew on your shirt?
Oh, here, this is what I meant.
Are you okay?
First they came for LGBTQ, then they came for immigrants, then they came for the black community, and now I stand alone because I'm a Jew.
Translation, you should feel bad for all of my virtue signaling that like actually didn't amount to anything. Cause like you need to like support me now because I virtue signaled for you and did absolutely fucking nothing. And supported a regime, by the way, who like all of those people, they fucked all of them over. They've been fucking them over for decades. So kudos. Good job.
And so now this
I fucking
guy,
hate Amy Schumer.
Shai
She's
David
such-
Dye, the bleach professor at Columbia.
Yeah, bleach
you
professor. Good.
His dad's tied to the Israeli military.
Wow.
And you back his weapons? Wow.
What a totally unforeseen situation we have going on.
No one could have ever seen this coming. No one. And just like Ilhan Omar, AOC is just as complicit.
Of course she is.
AOC was at Columbia, or no, she was in, I think this was in Florida. I can't remember. This was a couple days ago, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But here she is, in part of her speech, like with Biden, she's praising the Columbia protest.
It is especially important that we remember the power of young people shaping this country today, of all days, as we once again witness the leadership of those peaceful student-led protests on campuses like Columbia, Yale, Berkeley, and many others. It is
And so, in the masterful forked-tongue politics that she has become, she's like literally Nancy Pelosi Jr. now. She took a picture with the genocider-in-chief himself. The same fucking day. Same day.
This is the point I'm making about liberals. They'll speak to you, they'll speak your language, but then they'll show you right there what side they're on. They'll show you. It's right in there. It's right in that picture. The person who is actively facilitating this, the person with blood in their hands, they're on their side. They'll tell you all of the lip service you want. And if that's enough for you, then you need to speak a little bit further to your own convictions. But it shouldn't be. This is why, for human beings, I always look at actions. I don't look at what they say. I ask myself, does this person's behavior align with what they're saying? And if the answer is no, I kind of just write that person off. Because
It's not even
the
behavior.
best people in my life, the best people in my life, the best people in your life too, probably, their words and their actions, they're completely, they're in line. They're completely in line.
It's
And
about it's
shit
really
like this.
really about having principles. That's like what the foundation of like what an ideology is, really. I mean, that's why ideologies can't really like exist like in like their own like general forms, because everyone has different principles. Everyone comes from different environments, everyone grows up differently, everyone has like a different like psychological output. And so they're gonna have different ideas and different, but like people for the most part admit, like, you know, there's spheres of how do I put this? Spheres of ideas, or like spheres of. I mean, I think humanity. We understand. I mean, that killing kids is wrong, but it took AOC 6 months of slaughter and 30,000, like 40,000 plus. The number is actually like 200,000 dead Palestinians later for her to even just utter the word genocide. That's just one. That's just one red flag. But there's among the several others.
Yeah, because she had to check with her handlers on when's the right time to actually like LARP that far there. Listen, if any of these people were on your side, they'd be speaking, they'd have no problems speaking out at the time everybody else did, but it never is. Anyway, this is a good one. I love this fucking video. This is so good.
Well, this is not the edit one, but like this is the original. Oh god. This is all the ruckus she's bringing. This is the ruckus, guys.
Bro, she looks like
taking care of Bernie and Biden, the two oldies, the two fucking seniors.
Dude, she looks like a marketing director. Like, what the fuck is happening?
That's why I felt like this made the most sense.
I feel like somewhere deep inside of her, like her soul is just like, I almost feel for her, because when I see shit like this, like my emotional intelligence is like somewhere deep inside that person, there's like there's a part of them that's actively dying when this is happening.
For
like,
sure.
Like there's part of you that is dying when you're like siding to this degree. Yeah, she's like she's like their PSW, for fuck's sake. They're just
I felt like this was the most appropriate.
She's walking.
Caring touch, visiting angels care so much. Visiting angels, America's choice in home care. We'll be there when you need us most. We'll make you a home cooked meal. And when you need a friend to talk to, we know how you feel. Visiting angels, America's choice in home care. Call us for a special caring touch. Visiting angels care.
Oh, that was
How you feel. Visiting angels, America's choice in home care. Call us.
That's where the
Fuck,
ruckus
man,
is
that's
at, guys.
stupid.
That's the ruckus. That was all the ruckus she came to bring to the
She
Democratic
brought all the ruckus she's bringing is the bedpan she's cleaning out for both of these. Well, not really bedpan, I guess oil change, because they're both like, Boston Robotics. Maybe not Bernie, maybe he's still kicking on, but that I know an android when I see one, and there's definitely one in that picture. So
as soon as this popped off, about a day later, of course, the president of the country, Netanyahu, he told us that it was not acceptable and to stop with the protest against his country. The foreigner is telling us to stop, guys.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific.
anti-Semitic mobs have taken over leading universities. They call for the annihilation of Israel. They attack Jewish students. They attack Jewish faculty.
None of this is true. None of this has happened.
Of course.
The only thing they
it's
have,
bullshit.
the only thing they have is a 19-second video of where this like Israeli woman like claims she was stabbed by a Palestinian flag in the eye, and it's literally a video of like the flag like waving in the camera for like 2 seconds.
Of course. Of fucking course.
Attacking is, by the way.
This is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s. It's unconscionable. It has
He's speaking English so his American masters understand.
to be stopped. It has to be condemned.
Or his American associates.
And condemned unequivocally. But that's not what happened. The response of several university presidents was shameful. Now, fortunately, state, local, federal officials, many of them have responded differently, but there has to be more. More has to be done. It has to be done not only because they attack Israel, that's bad enough. Not only because they want to kill Jews wherever they are, that's bad enough. It's also, when you listen to them, it's also because they say not only death to Israel, death to Jews, but death to America. And this tells us that there's an anti-Semitic surge here that has terrible consequences.
Label,
This exponential
outgroup.
rise of anti-Semitism
Again.
throughout America and throughout Western societies as Israel tries to defend itself against genocidal terrorists. Genocidal terrorists who hide behind civilians. Yet it is Israel that is falsely accused of genocide. Israel that is falsely accused of starvation and all sundry war crimes. It's all one big libel. But that's not new. We've seen in history that anti-Semitic attacks were always preceded by vilification and slander. Lies that were cast against the Jewish people that are unbelievable, yet people believed them. And what is important now is for all of us who are interested and cherish our values and our civilization, to stand up together and to say enough is enough.
At least there's a level to this that's like fairly degrading. Like at least as a Canadian, you can say that you're not like living like in a literal client state to another country. Like I mean, Canada's pretty bad with the Zionist shit. I mean, and they pay Israel a shit ton too. I mean, this is a symptom of like the West, but like America is like the big baby that's just like
Dude,
there's nothing.
I can completely relate to this because we're part of the British Commonwealth still. We're literally still, I'll put it this way. The Queen of England can come over and just say, fuck your government, and just delete the whole government in Canada. She can literally do that. Go look it up. So, yeah. I definitely empathize with y'all because, like, they can do that. Also, up here with the trucker protests, the second America said, get this shit taken care of, when they were actually actively, like, disrupting Capitol, that's when the jackboots came out.
That's when when the boots came on the ground. Exactly.
Yeah, that's when they got fashy. The second we keep telling y'all, and it keeps coming true, the capitalists resort to fascism every single time when it goes in front of the prime aims. If only there were a book on this. Oh well.
Just think about how many of these talking points we've heard since October 7th. We haven't heard of reports of deaths, but we'll check into it. The people, yes, innocent people were killed, but it was because of a faulty rocket or bomb from Palestine.
Yeah. Oops. It was an oopsie, guys. It was an oops. Oops. We killed a bunch of kids. Oops.
Al-Shifa Hospital was our fault. Sorry.
Maybe.
Killed them, but they were all terrorists. Okay, but they were civilians, and they were being used as human shields. Okay, there's no fighters in the area. We do kill civilians by accident, but they do it on purpose. Okay, we'll kill far more civilians than they do, but their countries are terrible. Are you some kind of anti-Semite?
That's where it comes.
That's where we're at.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When all the other bullshit doesn't work, the end goal, and you'll see, I'm not going to reference the obvious thing I'm going to reference, which was the obvious thing I made a video about on my channel, but once all the bullshit doesn't work, they give you the label, they put you in the out group. That's That's their play every single time with every single current thing. If you're not on board, you have a label. You're now a bad person. You're now part of the unwashed or the I don't know. It'll come to me one day. But
and I really do see this as like a line in the sand for Zionism. Like you're either for this shit or you're not at this point. There's nothing coming, because even as we see the college crackdown, we're seeing the highlight of the American like First Amendment rights like hypocrisy on the conservative right. Because notice like how it's in the red states where we see like the most violence on behalf of a fucking client, like another country. Let's watch Johnson.
I saw. Sorry, just a quick note, and then we'll watch this. I saw a really funny meme about like all the Chud crowd. They're like me watching everybody slide back into NPCism after speaking out about the pandemic, and it was just like I forget what the meme was, but it was like all those people just went right back into NPC mode. Like they were talking about it, and you're like, you're saying the right stuff. Yeah, those are very valid points. We should look into X, Y, and Z more. And then they just go right back into NPC mode. And both sides do this constantly. It's like they'll touch on something over here, and then they'll just be like complete soup head, like on the next current thing. It's almost like they draw straws, and it's like, shit. We got to go with NPC mode on this current thing. All right, I'll get the next current thing. Fuck.
So we didn't. Mike Johnson was on the best.
So, thank you all for being here today.
Why he decided to show up, I have no idea. Why he decided to come here and think this is a good idea.
Today we have several members of Congress here, and we're here today at one of America's preeminent academic institutions on a very important day and a very important time. Throughout history, Columbia, after meeting with Jewish students,
so not a very good.
They have mocked them and reviled them. They have shouted racial epithets. They have screamed at those who bear the Star of David. Enjoy your free speech.
Look at his face, dude.
Enjoy your free speech
while it still lasts. Enjoy your free speech while it still lasts. That's the intended statement, at least.
Enjoy your free speech. They have.
He just looks so. He looks so mad, like internally mad.
This man went on to say that repeat the lie that babies were cooked in ovens. This was the debunked.
Oh yeah,
he said this
again.
Said it twice in 24 hours. This is the first time he said it at the speech.
Children were savagely raped and murdered, and infants were cooked in ovens.
That's ridiculous. We could just have full-on like U.S. politicians just straight up lying. But if you say anything bad that happens to be true but criticizes Israel, then that's it. You're done. You're canceled, and your social media account gets deleted or suspended, and it's over.
Yep, pretty much.
Elon Musk retweeted Netanyahu himself today, so.
Yeah, that's why, like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, this guy was never on your side. I know some of y'all thought, like, maybe he was your savior. There's no savior. Nobody's coming to save you. Donald Trump's not coming to save you. Joe Biden's
They used to
not
call
coming
this
to
guy
save
MAGA
you.
Mike Johnson.
Yep, MAGA Mike Johnson. And you know what? Nobody's coming to save you. We got to save ourselves. Fuck. I'm tired of people still buying into this ridiculous LARP. I'm sorry.
Let's watch him on CNN.
There's a lot going
this morning
on in Congress right
Let's
now.
go.
You've chosen to travel to New York, and as you were just out on those steps calling for the resignation of the president of here of.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to point out before we dive into that one. So, in like obvious response to the booing, So Mike Johnson getting booed here in Colombia. AOC's quote tweet is good. He's trying to take all the reproductive rights away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sure. That's the reason why they're getting why he's getting booed at Columbia University. What are they protesting? What are they protesting?
That's why this person isn't on your side, because she's taking this and she's like, "Ooh, okay, not a great look, but I need to pivot this away from why they're really booing him, because she can't reveal." Nice. The thing is, she can't reveal how close to on the same side she is as these fuckers. She's got to pretend that she isn't on the same side. So, yeah, and that's the little comment right there. She needs to pivot to another talking point, because she can't just clearly say, like, oh, you're getting booed because of this reason. Because that's verboten. That's not allowed. So she has to pivot to like, oh yeah, reproductive rights. Da, da, da. And it's like, well, hold on. What, like, why are you even bringing that up? How is that relevant? Like, in this particular situation? Oh, it's not at all? Okay. Like, I'm sorry, I just completely see through this shit.
Yeah, there has to be like that. There's no other reason why she brought that up than exactly what you just said. Because it makes zero sense in whatever context. She's pivoting
because she can't.
She needs to be,
of course, but yeah. She can't signal like any kind of solidarity with the other like half of the pro wrestling show. So she's got to be like, oh, yeah, it's about abortion. No, it's not. But you can't actually clap him for the real reason why he's getting booed, because the people you actually work for and the people whose side you're actually on don't want you to do that, because we got to keep the pro wrestling going. And that's all this is. That's all it's ever been, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So
sorry, guys. I guess I just keep getting angrier.
There was heckling. There was shouting. That was not a warm reception.
Enjoy your free speech.
Were you surprised at all by what happened?
Well, there was a sea of students who apparently have been involved in the protest here, and I'm not surprised that they didn't welcome our visit, because we're calling out their activities. The point we tried to make today is that this is not who we are as Americans. This is not an expression of the First Amendment. This is not an exchange of ideas. This is threats and intimidation of violence.
They're trying to. Okay. So the new talking point, they're saying that this is not free speech
against Jewish students for who they are, for their faith. And that's a terrible trend that's going on in the country right now. We have these similar types of activities and what are becoming violent protests on campuses around the country. And members of Congress, I believe, have an obligation, a responsibility to speak about this and to demand that it come to an end, because it's not good for us.
The main thing they were chanting was Free Palestine. How is that anti-Semitic?
Well, what's anti-Semitic is that Hamas endorsed this protest today.
Pivot. They have to pivot, because he can't talk about the Free Palestine thing, because then he's got to go into all of the shit that he can't talk about. So he's got to. It's always pivot.
The word. They
no,
can't
they can't.
even say
they
the
can't.
fucking word Palestine. They're not allowed to say it. They have a list of words that they cannot say. This is literally true. Even in the New York Times, there's a New York Times leak about that.
And again, it's the exact same play. Think about Iraq. Any criticism for Iraq at all? Al Qaeda, Bin Laden. Those are the pivots. Like, there's always a pivot to a magical bad guy to distract from the bullshit you're doing. That's all. It's been the same play this whole time. And the fact that people are actually still falling for this is depressing. People should fucking know better.
It's deranged, honestly.
Last 2
You
hours,
got
they issued an
Hamas
endorsement
derangement
statement and heralded the students here and said this is the next generation of leadership in America. If you're getting endorsed by Hamas, that's not a good look. It's not a good sign. Some of these students apparently are unaware of the atrocities of October 7th, or they're denying it. They deny that women and children were brutally raped and murdered, that infants were placed into ovens and cooked alive. The things that happened there are unspeakable, and yet they're out there waving flags for the very people who committed those atrocities. This is not who we are.
Wait, but what flags? Hold on.
You could smell the death.
Hold up. So he's like, they're out there waving flags. Are they waving Hamas flags, or are they waving? Because you see this too. They hop back and forth. It's like, oh, they're out there like waving flags. It's like, but are they waving Hamas flags? Are they saying like I stand with Hamas? They're not, right? They're going back to the whole like Free Palestine thing. That's kind of the point, isn't it? But he's got to hop back and forth because his job is just to push a narrative, to push a narrative. Yeah.
The twist too. Yeah.
Yeah, the twist. He's just got to hammer a narrative forward. And this is why I call these people pretzel people. They'll become anything they can just to keep pushing the point forward. And that's the point he's probably paid to push forward. That, like, this is okay because magical boogeyman. And it's always the same shit. There's always a magical boogeyman that you point to, and that gives you free reign to do whatever fucking atrocities you can. And it's hilarious that they mention Hitler and other fascists because this was their go-to play every time. And people still can't put the fucking pieces together. They're right there. It's a 3-piece puzzle, sir. It's not 500 pieces. It's going to take you 2 seconds. Just put them together.
It's just crazy to me that he repeated this open lie twice within less than 24 hours. Like, what kind of telegraph?
This is not who we are. Speaking flags for the very people who committed those atrocities. That uncertain that infants were placed into ovens and cooked alive.
That never went. There's no evidence for this.
Literally never happened. You just like
The
this
things
is
that
like,
happened there.
and they all clapped like hey, babies and ovens. Like, let's just make up like the most like cartoonishly horrible thing ever. You know what? I just figured it out. You know why like they have to do babies in ovens? Because the actual children dying that are on footage, they need to outdo that. Because they know people are seeing actual kids dying. So they're like, what tops kids dying from bombs? What if we cooked them like they were fucking pizza? Like you know, that's what they're doing. They're like, what if we microwave the babies? That would be better than normal babies.
You remember when Ben Shapiro shared that AI image of a puppy, and it was like a burnt baby. It was supposed to be like a burnt baby.
Yeah.
They can't even get their fucking lie straight, man. They can't.
It was horrific.
They got to make their bullshit. Golden rule of fascism, you have to make your bullshit, because it's always bullshit, by the way. That's their tool. You got to make your bullshit worse than what's actually happening. You have to make it worse. You can't put it on the same level. You got to make it worse, because the whole point of fascists is to remain in control. That's why we're getting these, like, I don't know, babies in air fryers with garlic, and they're fucking air fryer babies. They're just cramming them in.
Just fucking make wing baby. Is that what? Like, that's how far they're gonna take this.
They're making entire coats of babies.
There's a student here, a PhD student at Columbia. I wanted to quote him. He is Jewish.
Why?
He has written a testimonial about what's going on here right
God
now,
damn
his
it.
experience on campus. And he says, I'll read it to you, the most pressing threats to our safety as Jewish students do not come from tents on campus. We should be focusing on the material reality of war, the munitions our government is sending to Israel, which kill Palestinians by the thousands, and the Americans participating in the violence. Do you think that protesting the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, protesting the tens of thousands of innocent people who have died there, is anti-Semitic in and of itself?
I think there's always a place for debate in the free exchange of ideas, but let's not equivocate on what's happening in with Hamas and in Gaza. This is a battle, as Netanyahu said.
In
Prime Minister
Hamas?
Netanyahu said, between
Dude,
good versus evil.
pause that for a sec.
Then what's
He
it
just
about?
fucked up. He just fucked up his words. See, this is your point from earlier. He said in Hamas. What do you mean in Hamas? Hamas isn't a place.
He just said in Hamas, Gaza.
He fucked his words up. He meant to say Gaza, but his NPC brain is programmed if it's an if statement. If Gaza or Palestine equals true, Hamas. He is a walking if statement. He is one line in Visual Studio. Okay? That's it. He just gave the game away right there. He fucked his words up. He meant to say in Gaza. He said in Hamas because his brain is short-circuiting, and like this is why it sucks to be an NPC, because eventually your brain cannot handle the NPCism, and it superfies the words, and then you have like assholes like me yelling about you on a fucking
It's an alphabet
stream.
soup of talking points.
It's the Manatee South Park episode. It's the same thing. Except the manatee is drunk, and that's why you get this fucking idiot with his stupid looking glasses. Why don't you get some glasses like mine, by the way? You look like my grandmother. Okay? I'm not gonna listen to my grandmother about terrorism. She was wrong every fucking time. God damn it. Alright. I'm gonna just keep like getting angry.
I don't know how
Let's
much
keep going.
longer I can listen to this asshole, but I'm gonna let me see.
Evil, light versus darkness, civilization versus...
What the fuck is this language we're talking? Lightness versus darkness?
Let's not equivocate on what's happening with Hamas and in Gaza. This is a battle, as Netanyahu said, Prime Minister Netanyahu said, between good versus evil, light versus darkness, civilization versus barbarism. This is...
What the fuck is this race? That is some racist Arab. What did you?
I'm gonna be honest. I think he's saying the quiet word out loud there. I don't think he meant to, but I think that was like a slip where it's like light versus darkness. Oh, you mean like the white people oppressing the darker people, like we've always done? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, that's fascism, so it tracks. Good job.
It's literally like a stutter.
Grandma glasses.
This isn't a close call. We have terrorists who preyed upon and attacked viciously and killed many innocent Israelis. And the idea that they would be out here in support of that, Hamas is using civilians as shields for themselves. They put their
cloaks.
operations
They're using them
under...
as coats. They're using them. You know what? Hamas just made its very first baby blanket. It's a blanket made of nothing but babies. There's 26,000 babies in this one blanket. That totally happened. Okay? They go to bed with this big baby blanket every night. Fucking soup. I'm sorry.
Do you ever see that meme image of like
so
literally like a Hamas soldier with the babies, like it's like literally as like body shields?
Yeah, dude, it's like World of Warcraft. You know the breastplate of babies. It's like plus 15 stamina, plus like
it's like +1 stamina, +1. No, it's you probably have like emburnment a little bit, depending on how many babies are attacked.
minus like 25 charisma, minus 16 intelligence. Yeah, it's a tank item. It's not like a caster item.
Yeah, no, it's you just toss it and then sell it for trash and get.
Yeah, it's vendor loot for sure.
Hospitals and schools. They are using civilians in a theater of war. And so it's difficult. Why would someone blame Israel for trying to stamp out the very terrorist threats that are right there on the doorstep? We should not be dictating to Israel their military strategy. We should be supporting our ally, which is the only stable democracy in the
Is there
Middle East.
anything Israel could do that would be over the line for you? Because when you talk about stamping it out, I mean, many innocent children.
Dude, this man is like on a script. Like he's on drugs. I'm sure they jack him up with something because like he memorizes these lines like verbatim.
No, dude, he's not on drugs. He's literally snorting ground up babies. Like he's projecting, because that's what Hamas does, right? They snort like powdered baby. They have like a big can. It's like Costco. You get it at Costco, like powdered baby. Yeah. So that's the play, I think.
It's cheaper. Yeah, no, that's how you get the adrenochrome.
Yeah, no doubt.
The babies. Yeah. You're right.
Have died and are.
Maybe that's why Hamas has so much power. And that's why they control the world and control the UN and control everything. Because they have the adrenochrome from all the dead babies. That's a bad joke.
Maybe that's like that could be the projection. That's why they keep talking about like babies in various scenarios. Eventually they're gonna have to like evolve past babies. They're gonna have to talk about like fetuses or like,
I'm waiting for what I haven't heard. Like what is there that we haven't heard?
I mean,
it's gonna keep. I'm waiting until like the ridiculousness ends at any point. But
I feel like they're gonna hit a
Israel's
ceiling.
hands and the idea.
Like
there have been civilians murdered, but that is not the fault of Israel. It's the fault of the terrorists, the Hamas operators and soldiers, the terrorists who have used these people and put them into harm's way. Israel, I'm convinced,
a hospital is putting people into harm's way.
Is doing its very best to prevent civilian casualties, but this is a war and they're fighting for their very existence, and they are not the aggressors. It is the other side. Some of the people here seem not to understand that, and I think that's a real problem. We can debate the merits of all these things, but what they're doing here is intimidating Jewish students. That's the thing that is so problematic.
Again, not happening. None of this is happening.
All right, so let me ask you about that, because when it comes to that, the NYPD, at least as of Monday, said they've not received a single call from Columbia University of reports of any physical harm.
Well,
no physical harm.
Right, but you.
None of this is happening.
No, and just like, just as a note, I would like people to remember what I said about liberals. We're on CNN right now. There's a CNN person, like delivering these criticisms. They will then tell you to vote for the person who is directly responsible for enabling this. That is how liberals operate. Okay? This is all pro wrestling. Okay? They're both these people are on the same side. It's just one side needs to pretend they're on your side so they get consent from you to proceed with all the bullshit they're doing. That's it.
That's what a true elite person does. They play both sides.
Yep.
You have to speak to these Jewish students who are in fear of their lives, who are cowering in
physical harm. All from Columbia University of reports of any physical harm.
Well,
no physical harm.
Right, but you have to speak to these Jewish students who are in fear of their lives, who are cowering in their apartments right now.
Over what?
Who are not coming to class. In fact, the administration recognized the threat was so great, they canceled classes. Now they've come out with this hybrid idea. Well, if you're Jewish, maybe you do want to stay at home. Maybe it'd be better off for you. It is so discriminatory. It's so wrong in every way. The responsibility of a university administrator is to keep peace on campus and ensure the safety of students. Job number one. If they're incapable of doing that, then you need different leadership. I think this is time for a really strong hand.
I'm trying to understand, though, why, as Speaker of the House, this is an issue you would want to get involved with. It's a private university. It's an issue happening here. Why is this something that you are choosing to get involved in and calling for the removal of a president of a private university?
Well, they receive federal funding as well. And
I'm betting, and I'm trying to still figure this out. Like someone here, like in Congress right now, like has a son or a daughter that goes to Columbia right now. I mean, we already see Omar's daughter goes to Bernard, which is like right next door. Everything he's saying is made up, but I'm betting that like the crackdown on Columbia is due to someone related, like with like strong relations to both Israel and like the United States like government, is like that's where they got this all. But
say hi,
Kitty.
Say hi, Stormy. Oh,
Kitty.
no.
Dude,
Just
what's
wants
that
to
one's
get all the
name?
shit off the floor. Stormy.
Stormy. Oh,
Can you stop showing people your butthole, please? Thank you.
no, they always love the butthole show.
I don't get
Congress
it,
is
but yeah.
looking at all of these aspects to determine how.
Were you gonna say something?
Can I predict what's going to happen next?
Okay.
He's going to say, and by the way, just so you're aware, that whole university was actually built from the ground up with babies. It was built by Hamas with babies. They found enough babies to build
The adrenochrome.
the whole structure. That's how many babies have been built with this. Okay.
We were able to finance the resources with all the adrenochrome that we have.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hamas!
How they're using those funds, is that appropriate? If they can't fulfill their basic obligations, I don't think the American taxpayers want to be funding this kind of thing.
Man, if Joe was still around, you'd be having a field day.
We know that professors are engaging in this as well. Some of the professors, some have been supportive of the Jewish students, but I believe it's a small subset for what I've told. They've allowed this to go on, and it is not okay for the American people. This isn't a partisan issue. This is about right and wrong, and we've got to call it for what it is.
And so when people talk about genocide and say that Israel is engaging in genocide, do you think that that is a legitimate conversation that they
He's already shaking his head, like really, and he's like, look at the. Okay, I want to pay attention now. He's shaking his head, and then he does like a little gulp, like he swallows. Check out the swallow.
engaging in genocide? Do you think that that is
That he's nervous. He's got a gun to his head for sure.
Exactly, because that's the thing. They're in the fucking wrong.
This
He
is
knows
genocide,
he's in
it's
the
a-
wrong. He knows this is all in the wrong. And
Right and wrong.
for the
We've
first
gotta call it
time
for
in a
what it
long
is.
time,
And so
they
when-
can't
when-
control the narrative around it. So he's got to think of all the pivots he's done just in this conversation.
They're getting nervous.
people talk about genocide and say that Israel is engaging in genocide? Do you think that that is a legitimate conversation that they should be allowed to have as part of First Amendment rights here? Or
Well,
no?
of course. Look,
That's 2 swallows in like 9 seconds.
I was a First Amendment lawyer for 20 years. I went into the courts and defended our First Amendment freedoms, religious expression, the right of free speech on campus. I litigated those cases. Of course, the university is supposed to be the free marketplace of ideas. But when you shout down and physically threaten with intimidation and threats of violence the other side, that is not a peaceful expression and a peaceful exchange of ideas. That's something very different, and that's what we're saying they need to get control of. When they camp out around the campus and they prevent students from exercising their rights, that's the problem.
Before you go, obviously we're here in New York as there's been threats to your speakership back in Washington. What does it say about your standing as speaker that you are here at Columbia University dealing with this issue right now?
The Speaker of the House has a very important constitutional responsibility. It's an officer listed in the Constitution. The Speaker speaks for the House of Representatives, and I felt it was very important for that voice to be heard. Not just about what happens at Columbia, but about what is happening right now around the country. And we have to stand unequivocally for the right and the good. And I'm calling on all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this. Not to endorse it, not to coddle these people, but to say this has to stop. We have to treat every single person with dignity and respect, and that's not happening here, and it's an atrocity.
A couple notes. This could be a feign, like I put on, or it could just be like his actual. Couple psych notes here. So if you guys go to this video, go from the beginning. Notice around the middle to the end, he keeps breaking eye contact. That is an unconscious signal that he's actually out of talking points. He's out of he's lost control, and he's trying to figure out a way to get back to in control. And she let him off the hook like a million times, obviously, but that's liberals for you, like I said. But if you look towards the end, he starts maintaining eye contact really good at the beginning. By the end, he's breaking it constantly. There's this constant break of eye contact. Liars do that when they're looking for a way to lie out of a lie that's not working. That's all I'll say on that. Go back, check it out. First thing I noticed, that is a liar.
You want to point out this one reaction here from Scott Galloway. This was this is pretty. So I don't know. There's like this American obsession, and this is another thing to catch with propaganda is like how they need to like pinpoint you where like something traumatic that happened within your lifetime. They keep on repeating the 9/11 thing because it's familiar, and they want you to think that 9/11 is actually happening right now. Or like that it's like, you know, we're in the middle of that same era. They basically want to rewind us back in time. Just
that is
that's desperation.
2 million people have been killed in the Sudan civil war. I haven't seen a protest at NYU for that. Assad killed 500 Arabs. I didn't see colleges burned down. 500,000 Arabs killed by Assad.
Burnt down. Colleges burnt down?
Saddam Hussein killed over 1 million Muslims in wars. I gassed them. I didn't see protests there. And yet your school is shut down right now because Israel is responding to the worst attack against Jews worldwide since the Holocaust. Help us sort through that.
And we can debate that response.
Again, I don't know algebra, but I'm pretty good at the common denominators here and why there's no common denominators in all of these. It's just that it's Jews defending their homeland. Because if you look at the numbers, even with American wars, they don't add up.
Well, first off, good to be with you, and I especially appreciate your leadership on this issue. I'll give you some more numbers. 2,200 American servicemen killed at Pearl Harbor. We go on to kill 3.5 million Japanese, including 100,000 in one night. 2,800 Americans in 9/11. We go on to kill 400,000 people in Afghanistan and Iraq. We weren't accused of genocide. You had, if Mexico had elected a jihadist cartel to run their country, and then they incurred into Texas, and on a per capita basis killed 35,000 people of the population of the University of Texas, and on the way back took the freshman class at SMU hostage and hid them.
Dude, this is some crazy numbers. So he's saying, imagine if the president of Mexico was a violent jihadist that killed
capita basis killed 35,000 people of the population. You had, if Mexico had elected a jihadist cartel to run their country, and then they incurred into Texas, and on a per capita basis killed 35,000 people of the population of the University of Texas, and on the way back took
this obsession with the per capita number. Why are we calculating per capita?
I honestly think it's just like if I say these certain phrases, people are going to think like I'm smart. I don't know. I think that's just it. People throw in these words. I see the shit in meetings all the time where they just throw in these phrases like out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, if I sound extra authoritative.
That's it's to make it seem larger for the propaganda than what it actually is. Like 35,000 people didn't die on October 7th. That's like the amount of people that exists within Israel and also like Texas or whatever, that like per capita would that's like we're literally doing fucking per capita death ratios. Population death ratios. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's the level of propaganda we're at.
It's Bill Gates' favorite book, How to Lie with Statistics. That's what they're doing right now. And this is beyond funny to me.
Purely off
because it's like they're trying to make a point on the opposite side that would be a perfect point to make on the side they're trying not to defend. That's my favorite part of this. It's so good.
Freshman class at SMU hostage and hid them under tunnels. What would we do? It'd be the great Sonora radioactive parking lot. But Jews are not allowed, and Israel is not allowed to prosecute a war. And they are prosecuting a war more humanely than we have done. The ratio of combatants to civilians is, of civilian death to combatant mortality is lower than it was in Mosul, lower.
Everyone trusts that number.
Than it was in Japan, lower it was in Germany.
Nobody's gonna look it up. That's the
there's
thing.
just a different standard for Jews in Israel when it comes to prosecuting a war. They're allowed to fight back to a truce, but unlike America or any other Western nation that has attacked this viciously, they're not allowed to win a war. It's a double standard.
Crazy bad shit, like some fucking wild shit.
This is like, I feel like turning on the news is like being in a relationship with a narcissist at like any point in time. You got your gaslighting, you got your crazy making, you got the revision of history that they love doing so much. And as someone who was in a relationship with a narcissist in the past, like I can attest to all these personally. Yeah, it's like it's a checklist. And now the mainstream media is just going down that checklist. You're in an abusive relationship with your television. Congratulations. Well done. Fuck.
Insane. This is some wild shit.
And we're not just talking NYU last night. What I saw was peaceful protests. But I can tell you, if I went into the NYU square with a white hood on and said, lynch the blacks or burn the gays, my ID would be shut off by that night. And I would never work in academia again. There would be no need for the words context or nuance. I wouldn't be protected by terms like First Amendment or free speech. I would be out of the world.
I want to make it clear that the boomers are ingesting this like macaroni and cheese. They're
Yeah.
just swallowing
No,
this
it's dude, I'm gonna say this much. I got my sister's wedding coming up. I know I'm gonna see my dad. I guarantee you he's gonna start like barfing this out at me.
Like
I
we're becoming
promise you he's
a
gonna start barfing it out.
Nazi
Other
communist.
people, yeah, other people will start barfing it out too. And talking to him is so funny because we're both on the opposite sides of like the political spectrum. Like the last thing in the world he'd ever want me to be is exactly what I identify as every day of my life. So I just can't wait for him to start puking this shit out because all of the boomers, I heard it in Tim Hortons the other day. For the people who are Canadian, that's like a coffee place. I heard it in Tim Hortons the other day. They're just barfing this out. They're just like, "Oh, did you hear like on the Viewey box what the TV man said about the?" And then they just start puking this out. It's fucking great,
dude.
World of academia. It seems like we have a double standard when it comes to hate speech as long as it's against Jews.
And we're not just talking about the exercising of free speech and protest, which we agree people have, and there's spaces on campus for that. It's what they're saying. It's the harassment of Jewish students. So what is that? Why is there that double standard? Because of course you're right. You don't even have to say it out loud. If these things were being said about black people or gay people or Latinos or Asian or anybody else, forget it. Shut down the school. Everybody's expelled. Why is there still?
That's literally how they feel right now. Governor Ron DeSantis just announced that today that he's going to go expel, or he pledges to expel anyone that decides to protest. Florida's some kind of like on some other level right now. But
yeah, and like I tweeted today, Ron DeSantis is the literal human form of pineapple on pizza. You heard it from me here, folks. He is the literal human form
that tweet in here too.
Of pineapple on pizza. He is, and it's hilarious because a lot of us who kind of like had some concerns about COVID were like, hey, yeah, like he's doing this here and he's doing this there. That's great. Again, these people aren't on your side because right now he's just right back to his stupid bullshit. All the stuff he pretended to care about with COVID just to earn some like chud points with the Gator people or sorry, I didn't mean to say Gator people. Fuck. I don't mean Gator people. If you live in Florida, I love you and you're a comrade. But y'all got like this Australian America shit going on. I don't know how to process it. And I have family living in Florida. But he like protests all this COVID shit, and then he turns around and he's like being just as, if not more, fashy than the fashy shit he was complaining about just because it was the different pro wrestling team. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. I don't know how this works on anyone with a functional brain. I'm calming down. We're calming.
I think it's complicated. I think one, young people have a healthy gag reflex on what people.
Now the point I wanted to point out here that notice how he immediately blames China and TikTok. And TikTok was signed, the TikTok ban, like the divest or ban bill, was signed into law that very morning. It's like telegraphed.
People our age think. And I think that's healthy. Two, I don't think Israel has draped itself in glory over the last 20 or 30 years. They've shifted from being kind of the David to the Goliath. I also think that incorrectly students on campus conflate the civil rights movement with what is going on in Palestine and have digressed, unfortunately, because of an orthodoxy promoted by me and my colleagues that there are oppressors and oppressed. And the easiest way to identify oppressors is how white and how rich they are, or fairly or unfairly. Israel is seen as ground zero for whiteness and how wealthy they are. And then what might sound paranoid doesn't mean I'm wrong. I think we are being manipulated, specifically youth, who their frame for the world is TikTok. And if you look at TikTok, there are 52 videos that are pro-Hamas or pro-Palestinian for every one served on Israel. I think that...
Yeah, because how many fucking people are dying in Israel?
Dude, it all goes back. Guys, all roads lead back to Red Scare. All of the roads lead back to Red Scare. That's like the ultimate... That is the ultimate original sin.
Watch
they
this.
will take anything happening and they will point it back to like, it's just going to be like the commies are coming. That's how it's going to end every time.
He literally points, he's like, this is the CCP. This is obviously the word. You can't be pro-Palestine. You can't be pro-Arab. This is obviously the work of the CCP. Watch.
Pro-Hamas or pro-Palestinian TikTok. And if you look at TikTok, there are 52 videos that are pro-Hamas or pro-Palestinian for every one served on Israel. I think that we are being manipulated. I think Americans are easier to fool than convinced they've been fooled. But if I were the CCP, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. I think social media is sowing division and polarization in our society.
Healthy gag reflex. That's Mike Johnson. Oh, no.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. God damn it. Again, I can't believe, like, I don't blame boomers because guys, I'm sorry, you just got to give up on that generation. They're too superfied. You can't unsupify the boomer generation. You just got to let your good friend named Time sort it out. It's going to sort itself out one day, I promise. But, I can't believe it's working on younger people, though. Like, what the fuck, man? This shouldn't be working. If you're like 40, 30, 20, this should not be working on you. This should not be working. You should be smarter than this. And if you're not smarter than this, then there's a really good chance then you're in a thing that was covered a while ago called a mass psychosis. We've seen a lot of them in our lifetimes. This is the next one. So
this is the anti-Semitism that we're experiencing. I think this just really sums it all up. Because,
man, I'm sold.
TikTok to make the kids love it.
Now, after seeing that, I have no choice. I have to, be okay with it.
And so, just to be clear, with the TikTok ban, they originally said 6 months to divest, but in this bill specifically, they gave them an entire year. And so, like, that really quickly, actually, now we have word that the CEO is taking the Biden admin to court. So just
as you may have heard, Congress passed
play this video.
I'll be right back. Signed into law that is designed to ban TikTok in the United States. That will take TikTok away from you and 170 million Americans who find community and connection on our platform. Make no mistake, this is a ban on TikTok and a ban on you and your voice. Politicians may say otherwise, but don't get confused. Many who sponsored the bill admit a TikTok ban is the ultimate goal. is obviously a disappointing moment, but it does not need to be a defining one. It's actually ironic because the freedom of expression on TikTok reflects the same American values that make the United States a beacon of freedom. TikTok gives everyday Americans a powerful way to be seen and heard, and that's why so many people have made TikTok part of their daily lives. Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are confident and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts. The facts and the Constitution are on our side, and we expect to prevail again. Our community is filled with people who have found acceptance and compassion, offered inspiration and encouragement, increased their awareness and broadened their perspectives, ultimately adding more delight and joy to their lives. Our community is also filled. While we make our case in court, you'll still be able to enjoy TikTok like you always have. In fact, if you have a story about how TikTok impacts your life, we'll love for you to share it to showcase exactly what we're fighting for.
Yeah, so it's that case is not really looking too good at this point. It's looking pretty like they're going to get challenged, and it's going to be sitting on a while. It's going to be at least a year. And guess what's happening in a year? Who's going to be president in a year?
Isn't it that guy that talks about China being evil 24/7? That guy? Wow, that's crazy.
They line it up perfectly. It's like,
oh, dude, fucking
crazy.
The minute that baby-handed Cheeto fucking gets back into office, we're going to see the most ridiculously cartoonish, like, neo-McCarthyism shit. You will see the most, like, brain-dead, soup-headed bullshit you'll ever see when it comes to, like, Red Scare propaganda. Like, I will remind you, this is a guy who is telling people who are cheering this on in big arenas that Biden's America is a Marxist state. So while you sit there as the proletariat with zero fucking power, all of your labor exploited, with like a handful of people owning the fucking world, he's out there saying like, yeah, we become a Marxist country. That's happening. Okay, that fucker is going to be back in office because you know Biden isn't, because they don't want Biden. They've already run the narrative that Biden is like a Chinese asset or whatever. Now they've got to have Trump come in, which is just fucking funny. I'm sorry. It's so
wait,
stupid.
he's a Ukrainian asset. I mean, some of them are correct. Like, I guess like the libertarian points correctly point that one out. But yeah, the Chinese asset thing is pretty funny.
Any government under capitalism is very simple. The government under capitalism is an asset of the bourgeoisie. Whatever aims they have, whatever goals they have, that's it. That's it. They don't work for you. They work for the capitalists. They work for capital. That's it. It is the easiest fucking A to B you can ever have in your life. Okay? All of this can be traced back to capital. Okay? Ukraine absolutely can be. Look at BlackRock, military industrial complex. Obviously, that's a no shit one. You know, like all of it. And of course, China is a threat to capital, which is why we're seeing all of this. You know, because I mean, there's no billionaires that are executed in the United States. There's no billionaires executed in Canada. All right. The abuse,
unless you got like some really bad dirt.
The abuse of capital, is punished in the country that the West has defined as public enemy number one. That's all you need to know. So
this is a Kaylin Johnstone reading. I just feel like this really kind of like wraps everything up.
She never misses. I'll say it forever. I don't care if people are like, no, I don't like her take. No, she never misses. Shut the fuck up.
Every time. She always knocks the ball out of the park. I don't know.
It's always a crit. It's always a Wind Fury crit. She never whiffs the Wind Fury.
I really don't know how, but it's incredible to me. I don't know why, she doesn't appear on shows enough, but she doesn't. I don't know. She does that for a reason, but
quashing university protests.
Smarter.
Yeah. All right. Let's play
Tests and banning TikTok to make the kids love Israel. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. It's just a tough situation with victims on both sides. On one side, you've got people being slaughtered in droves by genocidal massacres and siege warfare, while on the other, you've got people whose feelings get hurt when those atrocities are opposed. Hard to say which is worse.
What do you want, Kitty?
I have dedicated every day of my life to the project of spreading awareness of the depravity and deceitfulness of the Western Empire, but I will never write anything more effective toward this end than what the Empire is doing itself on university campuses right now. I mean, you have to kind of wonder what they're thinking. Yeah, that's it. Violently quash pro-Palestine protests at universities, ban TikTok to ensure the suppression of pro-Palestine content, and saturate the boomer media with obvious propaganda. That'll make the kids love Israel. Meanwhile, the U.S. empire is still playing games with each and every one of our lives by continually taking insane risks in its world-threatening brinkmanship with a nuclear superpower. It turns out last month the Biden administration secretly sent Ukraine long-range Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, which Ukraine has reportedly already used to attack a Russian base in Crimea. In 2022, when Ukraine first started urging the United States to send it the ATACMS, which has nearly 4 times the range of the HIMARS weapons the U.S. has been supplying, Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova immediately responded with a warning that their use on Russian territory would make the U.S. a direct participant in the conflict, and Russia would respond accordingly. Crimea is considered Russian territory by the Russian Federation. In an article published in Anti-War last year titled ATACMS, Be Very Afraid of This Acronym, West Suburban Peace Coalition President Walt Zlatow wrote that this missile system has potential to draw the U.S. and NATO into all-out war with Russia. Here's a quote. ATACMS are long-range U.S. missiles that can strike up to 190 miles. Top U.S. officials, likely including President Biden, are seriously considering giving ATACMS to Ukraine in their battle to take back all Russian gains in Ukraine, including Crimea. They can reach both Crimea and the Russian mainland. If so used by Ukraine to attack Russia, it may be a missile too far that could ignite Russian tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Further escalation into nuclear confrontation between Russia and the U.S. and NATO alliance seeking Russia's defeat becomes more likely. End quote. Biden proclaimed it a good day for world peace when he signed the World War III bill, which will pour weapons of death and destruction into Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. This is the inverted reality the U.S. centralized empire premises its narratives about itself upon. They've got the mainstream public espousing a completely backwards and upside-down worldview, which is why we live in a completely backwards and upside-down civilization. The Ukraine war funding part of the bill was actually reportedly pushed through with behind-the-scenes collaboration between Trump and Republican lawmakers. Anyone who still buys Trump's ending the war is fighting the deep state shtick is a fucking moron. When Israel's genocide funding made it through the House, Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted, "The U.S. Congress just overwhelmingly passed a much-appreciated aid bill that demonstrates strong bipartisan support for Israel and defends Western civilization. Thank you, friends. Thank you, America." And he's not wrong. The U.S. Congress does have massive bipartisan support for Israel, and pouring war machinery into that genocidal apartheid state does in fact bolster the blood-fueled machine of nonstop murder and tyranny that is Western civilization. Human thriving arises from curiosity. Curiosity about the way our material universe operates leads to advances in science and all the benefits that come with it. Curiosity about how our civilization's power structures operate leads to an understanding of how the world really works, which will lead to the emergence of a truth-based society if realized on a collective level. Curiosity about our own consciousness and inner processes leads to self-realization and the harmonious way of moving in the world which flows from it. If a healthy humanity exists in the future, It will above all be a deeply curious species. The values of competition, greed, and domination which currently drive the way our civilization operates will have given way to curiosity, humility, and discovery. We will have cultivated a humble but intense curiosity about ourselves, about each other, about our collective societal dynamics, and about our natural world.
Man, that ending, holy fuck, that ending, like...
I consider her a modern-day philosopher. I really do.
I do too.
She's really that guy.
Because she's so fucking dead on. Like, those need to replace our values. This whole, like, hyper competition thing, and all the weirdos who are like, oh, it's just like, it's human nature. Is it human nature? Because I'm sorry, I'm a human, and I don't want to compete with other people. I want to help them. I want to work with them towards a common goal. We didn't get anywhere by competing. We got everywhere by working with one another to achieve a common goal. That is the fucking prime function of any social animal on Earth. Look at any social animal on Earth. They're not competing with one another. Ants aren't competing with one another. I don't know if they technically classify as a social animal.
All this based, it's like based in like some like evolutionary, or like the main argument, like the evolutionary theory that people can just compete in order to mutate. But like it's sort of like infected like this. It's the dynamic of culture in our
but the thing is that only works.
Like we don't.
The thing is that
we don't get finance bros without this cult-like mentality of the hyper egoism, hyper individual. There's something about that.
There's a word for it. It's very simple. Narcissism.
Yeah.
Narcissism. That's it. We have a society that cultivates narcissism and it rewards it. And that isn't human nature. It's just the narcissists do well in a society that rewards narcissism, which is all capitalism has ever been. You have to be a narcissist. You need impaired empathy in order to exist in a system that exploits other people for your personal gain. Sorry, there's no other way to say it. Okay? That's why there's so many cluster B motherfuckers at the top. That's why there's so many deeply selfish, awful, disordered people at the top of the food chain in the system. It's because those are the people that get by. And the empathetic people get shit on. They get taken advantage of. As an empathetic person myself, my whole career, I've been taken advantage of and used, and I don't care because I'm not going to change who I am to appease these fucking assholes. But that's kind of it. And I love her point at the end, by the way. Her point at the end about changing like the way we operate as a society, we do need to be more curious because I don't think we're curious. I know it's a bit of a radical take because you might think of humans as very curious, but we're really not. We're not anymore. We're not curious. We just want our ideas given to us.
I think people kind of like react to the news like they see like this like isolated society where like people are on, and they see it on the news too, like how like I saw a graphic the other day, like how like in the 1970s, like 13% of people had at least like can name at least like 8 or more best like close friends, and today it's like less than 1% of people, which is like, it speaks a lot to our society. It speaks a lot to like where this hyper individualism has led us. I think that's kind of like where that's exactly like you're right, where we need to like have that conversation, because back in the day we were having people writing books about this shit all day, and now we're just like making tweets. So that there's no room for thoughts anymore. It's all like short form fucking like buzz content to like shoot the dopamine into your brain, inject it into your veins.
And conveniently it prevents
But
you from
that's where
thinking.
capitalism has led us. And
Mhm.
I'm wondering because this affects like the entire Western world. Obviously we're not going to get rid of TikTok. TikTok's here to stay. And TikTok's like not the TikTok plays that role, but it's like not like a problem in the sense that it's like a Chinese app, but which is not. It's from Singapore.
I'm sorry, the idea that TikTok's a problem when shit like Facebook can actively like manipulate like content on its platform to serve one narrative or another, all of which just appease one benefactor or another. The fact that TikTok's a problem when we're seeing this, the fact that TikTok's a problem when I can't go on X without seeing some shit. One of our members, for one, getting locked out for posting something that was deemed wrongthink. The fact that TikTok's the problem out of all this. There's no fucking free speech in any of this. The fact that TikTok's the problem. Your head is so full of chunky, chunky soup that the little potato cubes that we love nibbling on, they're pouring out of your ear if you can't see how fucking unhinged and ridiculous this shit is. It's so dumb. Holy fuck. Like, the fact that, like, you're saying TikTok's a problem.
They're paid.
The fact that you're saying TikTok's a problem when you can't go on Facebook and post something you feel about a certain issue because you're terrified your whole account's gonna get fucking banned. Like, oh my god, you're so gone at that point.
Completely cocked.
I'm sorry, the capitalists got you. You're cocked. You're sitting there and, you're not saying, like, I want to post what I want. You're sitting there and you're so cocked. You're like, I wonder what my wife's boyfriend wants me to post here. That's how cocked you are.
You're in the back of the truck. No, you're so cocked you're not even watching. You're like, you're tied with your hands behind you.
You're blindfolded in the corner. They won't watch. That's how cocked you are. You're like Trudeau level cocked. You're sitting there trying to pretend you're okay while your wife's out there like writing a book about how much of a Looney Tune you are.
Oh,
like,
Christ.
God damn, you're so cucked. You're applauding the SS in your parliament. Sorry, I'm never getting over that. I don't care. That was the darkest moment in the country.
No, that was the darkest moment in Canadian history, I think. No one's going to forget about that.
No, that was just... Because that was the one moment where everybody at the same time was like, wait, what? Bro, that's... No. That's... Bro, that's Nazi. No. My whole government is not clapping for... No. Like, everybody at once on my feed was like, what the fuck? Dude, even, like, far-right chuds were like, what? Everybody was like, what the fuck? No. We're not doing Nazi shit. What? Like, it was so bad. Oh my lord.
Oh man.
That's liberalism for you.
Let's wrap this here. We hit 2 hours, which is a good time.
Yeah, we got 2 hours and 6 minutes according to my calculations.
I'm glad everyone here could, make it out here tonight in the chat and whatever viewers we got here. But you can see right down below indienews.network. You can check out all of our links there, all of the members' links, including all the shows. You see a couple of trailers there, ways you can donate. We are actually demonetized on YouTube. You know why? Because I titled the video, "You Shouldn't Condemn Hamas." And now people can say it, and it's like not a big deal. So I mean, I don't know, but that was the kicker. I mean, there was obviously other things, but YouTube is not a free speech platform either. It's awful. Yeah.
And I'm curious. The jury's out on Rumble, but I'm curious how they're going to be when it's like the other stuff. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So far, so good. So far, so good. So I'm not gonna, shoot them right out the gates. I'm not gonna make, I'm not gonna make a whole suit of armor out of babies into them, right?
the baby bullet vests, yeah.
The bulletproof baby vest. That's what, dude. I just heard that Hamas is doing this right now. Yeah, right now they're making a bulletproof. They're making a mithril baby vest +5. You can. You can order it on antisemitism.com.
Now I have to see if that exists. I have to see if that's a website.
Antisemitism.com.
Yeah. It exists. It exists.
No. Oh,
it's
no.
real. Let me share this. Welcome to the campaign against anti-Semitism. Wow.
Starring NAFO.
What can I do if I experience anti-Semitism? Antisemitism.org. Oh. Oh, they bought both of the URLs. Wow. Wait. Sorry.
Yeah, they gotta.
So if you type in antisemitism.com, it automatically redirects to antisemitism.org, which is what this is. It's a charity, a campaign against anti-Semitism. Okay. That's what's happening on the internet.
To be crystal clear.
Thank you for making that joke, because now we know that that's a real thing. There's no irony in that at all, because it's a real website.
I'm just curious, like, when we go to their socials, is it just going to be like Hamas shit, like 24/7? Is it going to have anything about actual anti-Semitism, or is it just like we're Zionists and we're just going to do Zionism shit and fuck these like unclean people that are in our rightful land? Because that's what I'm assuming. Is there a circumcision captcha? Oh no.
This is their Instagram.
Oh, okay. March against anti-Semitism.
This is 21 weeks ago, so I mean,
maybe they are just like against actual, because like I'm going to be crystal clear here. Being anti-Semitic is obviously. Wait, hold on. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
I called it.
So they have.
I called it. Yep.
Wow.
I called it. It's your standard. It's your standard.
Are you an anti-Semite? We might report you guys.
It's your standard like.
Hey, yo, in the chat, give a thumbs up if you're an anti-Semite.
I mean,
dude, I gotta see their YouTube now. I'm doing a live investigation now. I'm checking this out from dude. Oh my god! Why did this is all came? This all said. This is all because you said antisemitism.com. That's all it took.
I just like fuck. I can't believe I called it. I'm like, this is probably just gonna be some like Zionist shit, right? And it's just some Zionist shit. I was like, is this just because for a brief second I was like, hold on, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just like people, because I'll be the first one to say, like, actual anti-Semitism is not a good thing. Obviously, it's a terrible thing.
Is this based in the UK?
Oh, this is just propaganda. Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure it's British propaganda.
Yeah. No! What? No! This sucks! Bro, they have Hamas or terrorist socks. They have boxers. You have to get lucky and dropping those, right? No! No! Oh Christ! Wipe the lies away, guys. Wipe them away.
There's no fucking way. There's no
Holy
way.
shit!
Holy fuck.
There's no.
I can't do this right now. I can't. What?
Even my cat's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm scared.
What?
It's okay, kitty. It's okay, kitty. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Can't do this. I can't.
Do you want some? Do you want some?
Do we know that exists? I mean,
Oh my god!
holy fuck.
Oh no! We gotta get to the end though. I want to see what else they're selling.
That was it. That's all they're selling.
Okay.
The wet
Well, I
wipe.
can't-
They ended with the wet. They said, "Do you see this? Wipe the lies away."
Minty fresh. Minty fresh.
Wipe the lies away. Wipe the lies away.
Bro. Bro, imagine like going
This
on
is
a
all
date.
because you said antisemitism.com.
No,
That's all it took.
Oh, holy
ended with the
fuck.
Why would you end with the wet wipes?
I don't know. Like, I'm sorry.
That's like
If I go to someone's house and they have Hamas or terrorist wet wipes, I'm assuming immediately that they're a serial killer.
Can I just say, okay, antisemitism.org is creating more anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
Simply
because
by
like
existing.
the actual fascists are gonna go to this shit and they're gonna be like, see, these people over here are the problem. Like, sorry. Fuck me. Oh man. Well, that was definitely a good end to the stream.
That's an amazing end.
Yeah.
Thanks for whoever was able to make it out tonight. But damn, dude, I should have pinned that message. The Nightbot. Here.
Don't forget to get your wet wipes, guys. Actually, why don't we sell that? Why don't we sell that merch?
We should smell. Oh, dude, we should sell Hamas wet wipes.
Yeah.
Like pro Hamas wet wipes.
Yeah, pro Hamas wet wipes.
Palestine.
Don't put us on the map. We'd be rolling in it.
Palestinian wet wipes. I mean, no, you don't see that.
Palestine wet wipes.
You don't see that. They're not doing. So who's the normal people? Tell me who is normal. Is it the people selling the wet wipes, the Hamas or terrorist wet wipes? You can't convince me those are the normal people.
Yeah, because there's no free Palestine wet wipes. There's just people saying, let's not do a genocide.
No one sane is doing that. No one sane is doing that.
But on the other side, you got the
They're
people
selling
who are
dildos and wet wipes right now.
butt plugs.
And butt plugs. That's what the other side is.
Yeah.
So who's the normal one?
They're selling merchandise based on like terrorism and shit. Because like, I'm sorry, the second you buy one of those products, like you're not okay.
You're really
Like-
not. You're really
Like,
not.
you should be marketing BetterHelp.com after, like, to people who buy those products. You're not okay if you're buying fucking terrorist wet wipes.
Insane. But yeah, guys, check out all the links here down below on IndianNewsNetwork.network. Feel free to donate. Check out the shop. I'm pretty busy, but I'm working on some stuff. I'm trying to record music, but Snow him. You got your show on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this Saturday, if you guys want, again, a little bit of a break, kind of a hangout, a reset from all the wet wipes. Sorry, it's
The
in my head
wet
now. I can't get it out.
A break
You want a
from
break from the Hamas terrorist wet wipes?
the
No, I'm if y'all want a little bit of a break from the hell that's going on, I will be playing the Thaumaturge. It is a really cool role-playing game. Similar from what I've seen to like Disco Elysium, if you like that. Yeah, Jeremiah, it's Snow Himbo. What's up, man? So this Saturday I'll be playing the Thaumaturge. It seems like a really cool RPG. So we'll be streaming that, hanging out, and probably doing some goofy RPG shit like I always do. Please go to my channel and purchase some Snow Himbo tampons I'm selling, and also we do have Snow Himbo wet wipes as well.
I'm at Big Mad Crab. You could find me out at pretty much any link there. But yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Keep questioning everything. It's the most important part.
Absolutely everything.
And buy the wet wipes.